Hello, I'm going to continue the sort of meeting friends episode that I did before because I didn't get to tell you about one friend that I didn't get to meet and the reasons why. So I have two close friends, I would say. I have more than two friends, but I would say that two of them are sort of like the closest friends, the friends that I would definitely be visiting, if I was here, like I am, coming over from Japan to England. I'd definitely find time to meet up with them. My other friends, they would at some point in time have been that kind of friend, but we've just drifted apart for various reasons, as you do, throughout your life. So some friends might be from university, but I don't go there anymore, so we've just sort of drifted apart. Remained in touch, but don't meet up so often. And same for college. Some friends are from college and we remain in touch, but just sort of drifted apart, which is it's a bit of a sad thing. But I don't know. It's I was reading an article the other day. Well, it was a while ago now, actually, maybe a few years ago, and it was saying that men only tend to keep friends based upon activities they do. I don't know how much truth there is in that, but it certainly seems to be true in my case. Once you take the activity away, once you take the reason for us meeting away, we just seem to have drifted apart. I can't remember exactly the way it phrased it, but it was sort of like saying men's friendship is based upon activities, that kind of thing. Well, anyway, ignoring the science behind it, like I said, back on track. I have two friends that I've managed to remain in close contact with, but I say close contact. I don't know. Maybe it depends. Everyone's got a different idea of what close contact is, but we weren't meeting up every week or even every month. I like I mentioned before, the friend whose house I visited, we would meet up maybe once every half a year, maybe once every year, maybe sometimes once. It would take a year and a half before we'd actually physically meet up. But we'd usually message each other on some kind of chat platform throughout the year. So I suppose we sort of kept in touch that way. And my other friend I used to see a bit more often, a bit more frequently, just because he lived closer. But I don't think I'll be seeing him. I'm almost certain that I'm going to be returning back to Japan and won't be able to meet up. And the reason why is pretty sad, to be perfectly honest. It's because things have sort of changed, not necessarily with us, but I don't know. Well, I don't know. Maybe it is with us. Although actually, what am I trying to say? I don't think I've changed at all. I think my friend has changed. But I also don't think he would have changed if it wasn't for the internet. So that sounds a bit weird. What do I mean by that? My friend is an unusual character, I will say. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm an unusual character, I would say. But my friend is too. But in perhaps a different way to me. I have very strong opinions about a lot of things, as I'm sure you know. If you listen to this podcast, I'm sure you've heard many of them. And I've got a natural distrust of people, which may or may not be healthy. So in some respects, if I'm reading some information on the internet, for example, I'll naturally distrust it. I'll think, well, yeah, okay, but who's this? Who's telling me this? Where are their sources? Where is this doesn't necessarily have to be true or anything like that. I suppose in that sense, it's a good thing. I don't tend to follow the crowd so much. There can be a million people saying, "Oh, this movie is amazing. It's the best film I've ever seen," and I'll watch it and I'll definitely form my own opinions. And I've got no problem being that one person in a million saying, I didn't think it was very good, actually. And I found myself in that situation quite a few times when I really can't understand what everyone else around me, I don't know, sees in something that I can't. And sometimes I'm wondering, like, did you really enjoy it, or are you just saying that because everyone else is saying they enjoyed it? But either way, I suppose the bad side of it is, like, someone might come up to me and start talking to me in the street, and at that point in time, I'm like 50-50, like undecided. Like, what is this person's motives? Are they just a normal person? Do they just want some information, some help, or are they a bad person? I don't know, trying to con me out of something. So, like I say, it's probably like good and bad points to being like that. My friend, on the other hand, I would say is, I don't know if I wouldn't say he was the complete opposite of that. I think he has his own opinions, but they're easily swayed. So he has his own opinions, but they can be changed very easily. So I'll give you one example, which was a bit of a problem for us. I don't know how long ago was this? 8 years or something. I remember meeting up with my friend, and we were having these conversations, and at some point I just thought, I don't know if I can be your friend anymore, which sounds a bit harsh, but I'll explain why. What happened was, he'd been watching videos on YouTube, and those videos were saying certain things which I personally find a bit crazy. So things like the world is flat, and it's okay watching these videos if you just want a bit of entertainment. But my friend had watched them and managed to come to the conclusion that the world is indeed flat. And I have quite, I will discuss it with him, if you want to talk about it and the possibilities, like why it might be or why it can't be and all that kind of stuff. I'll humor him like that, but it's not something I want to have a lot of discussion about, because it's sort of, for me, it's like trying to have a discussion why the color red is actually the color yellow or something. It's just, there's nothing you can do to make that make sense. Red is red and yellow is yellow. They're separate. So I don't really want to talk too much about it, because it's going to, we're never going to reach agreement. I do not think the world is flat. I don't think I'll ever change my opinion on that, unless some miraculous thing happens. I don't know. Maybe I go into space and I look down and it's like, oh my goodness me, it really was flat. My friend was right. I can't see that happening. I just do not believe that that's the case at all. All of the science points to exactly the opposite of that, and so many more reasons. So, like, discussing it, yeah, it can be fun for the first few minutes, but then if you keep having that conversation, it's sort of I don't know, sort of like wears you down, I suppose. So there was that, and then there was another thing. Some other like weird stuff, like going down sort of like conspiracy type theory things, where he was telling me something about Nintendo games, like having subliminal messages, so like hidden messages within them for, I don't know, programming the minds of children or some nonsense. And that was the point, actually, when I sort of thought, yeah, I don't know if we can be friends anymore. I can ignore that. I can say, like, look, let's not any of your crazy ideas. Well, I think they're crazy. But any of those ideas, please just don't talk to me about them. But the trouble is, it was like his world and my world were just becoming different places. So it was becoming harder and harder to find, those topics where you can see eye to eye on, where you both have the same opinion on. So it was just becoming harder to talk about things, because it could be any conversation about anything, and then I don't know, there's some way in which what I was saying was related to some conspiracy theory, like mobile phones. I don't know, I might mention something about those, and he'd start talking about like 5G doing something crazy. I don't know what it was. It's just. It's like the more unusual it was, the sort of like less patience I had to listen to it, really. So yeah, I do remember thinking at some point, oh no, I just don't know if we can continue being friends, to be honest, or meeting up anyway. But I'm not sure what happened, but some time passed, and we met up again and spoke about things, and he said, yeah, it was all a load of rubbish, wasn't it? It's like he came to his own conclusion that it was just complete nonsense, all the stuff he used to believe in, and he just changed and went back to his normal self. The him he would have been if he wasn't watching these silly videos on YouTube. But what has happened this time is he's been watching more kinds of these videos, not along the same lines, but more like divisive sort of politics videos. So you can be on the left or the right of politics in the UK, and he's been watching those, and he's not keen on. Well, I suppose the videos he watches sort of paint me and people like me as sort of naive idiots who can't see the bigger picture, and we're sort of a nuisance getting in the way of things. And I think for that reason, he doesn't really want to meet up. I've tried contacting him, and we did initially contact each other, but I said something that wasn't really to his liking. It was something that would have been completely normal to say years ago to the previous him, the old him, but with his new sort of ideals, he just doesn't like that kind of thing anymore. It wasn't anything bad I said. I was just sort of moaning about how people in the UK are a bit less friendly to foreigners and immigrants in the country, and how it was going to be harder for me to bring my wife to the UK in the future if that's what we decide to do at some point. Having a bit of a moan about that, and he launched into some sort of attack, and it felt very much like he wasn't, talking to me anymore, because we've known each other for years, and he knows all of my opinions about these things. But it's just like he was, it felt like he was like this attack of words on a complete stranger. It's like, why are you telling me all of this stuff? Yeah, I can see, your point of view. I can see what you're saying, but I don't think you really need to talk, to say the things that you're saying in the way that you're saying them to me. Obviously, I don't want to, relay exactly what was said, because I suppose it's personal information. I don't think it's nothing private. It was nothing terrible, not at all. But it's just I could just see this division. It's like you're starting to treat me like I'm, one of those sort of idiots who just can't understand it. I can't see the bigger picture. I can't see the problems and all. I don't know. So yes, in the end, he just ended up ignoring my messages, which is a shame, because we've known each other since secondary school. So, we're talking over 20 years now. But at the same time, I don't know. I can't imagine that we won't ever speak again. I think it'll just be a temporary thing like it was last time. I don't know, maybe at some point in the future it will have all blown over and he will have changed his mind again. And this is why I was saying I don't think I've really changed. The things that I believe in now, the values that I have now, are pretty much the same as they have always been. And those values or opinions are just based upon whatever I believe happens to be the right thing to do. So it's definitely a shame when a friendship can sort of be torn apart by a YouTube video. But I think that's exactly what these videos are designed to do, to create division within society. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what why does the person producing these videos want to do that? I haven't quite worked that out. Obviously there's the money aspect. Anything controversial creates more interaction, and more interaction means more adverts can be shown, and that in turn leads to more money. But I don't know, maybe there's something else going on. Maybe something a bit more sinister. Maybe some kind of hidden agenda. And now I'm starting to sound like the conspiracy theorist. What a strange world it is that we currently live in. this kind of thing wouldn't have happened. I don't know. Only what, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, probably 10 years ago. I don't know. Anyway, I shall leave it there for today, and hope you've enjoyed listening to the second half of this chat about meeting friends. And I'm glad I've been able to share with you a bit more information about what, like, the goings on in my life, and things happening around me. And yeah, I hope that's been good listening practice for you. Okay, until next time, bye bye.